Welcome back to episode 5 of the JAG show. Got some NFL draft recap. Exciting draft. A lot to talk about with Shadur, obviously. Um, yeah, Kellen, you got anything?
No, just missing Jerry today. Just
Yeah, no Jerry today. He's out buying a
rubbish.
pet fish, so he's got more important things to do. So let's get into it.
Kyle Tucker. He's the first Cub since Bryant, where I genuinely just get excited when he comes up to the plate. Like there hasn't been a Cub like that in so long.
Pete Crow Armstrong pisses me off. He gets up to the plate, and I just go on my phone and I text my friends and I say, strikeout.
Tim Tebow's jersey's not retired by Florida. It's a Heisman Trophy winner that won 2 national championships. The one the Durr who had, it was 13 and 12. Jerry's PCA take, it just keeps
Every week it just gets
it
worse.
just keeps getting.
I think
I
I'm
also
not.
love the head 90 like Kyle Tucker and you that sideways.
I don't think I'm gonna change the PCA one because that
Dude.
one's just so bad.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's had some
You know,
bad takes.
honestly, we could you want to touch Cubs at the beginning, low key, just since we're kind of
Like
already
what? Just like mainly the
just
Philly series.
yeah, well, we haven't. Last episode was they were beating the Dodgers game 1, and then they beat the Dodgers game 2, which was awesome. PCA was 3 for 4,
Yeah, I
and
mean, I've
stole
always,
bags.
yeah, I
And
mean,
then they lost 2 or 3 to the Phillies, but I saw a stat on Twitter. Every single game the Cubs have played is against a team that currently has a winning record.
I know it's like I remember talking about at the beginning of the season, like we can come out of April. I think I've said it on here before, but if we can come out of April over 500, that's
You're
a
in a
win.
great spot. Yeah,
Or even have, I mean, because we play the Pirates next. Obviously, the Pirates are very good, but you take the season series from the Dodgers and you're not even out of April yet.
yeah, and you split with the Padres.
I think we
Right, they
split
split with
with
the
the
Padres.
Diamondbacks too.
No, we took it from the Diamondbacks because we
No,
split in Arizona.
we
It was
split
2-2. It was a
4,
4-gamer.
and then we
So we were
went
4 and
2-1.
3 against them.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, we did
Or
take
four and
against the
three against them.
Diamondbacks.
But I think you feel like you're in a good spot, right? I do still worry a little bit about dude, if Steele was healthy, I'd have a completely different mindset. But also the Cubs have had good Aprils the last 2 years, and then May's been a disaster. So I think this team's better, 100%. But still can't really lay an egg because it feels like they'd lay an egg in May and then just playing catch up the rest of the season. You don't want to put yourself in that position again.
Yeah, I agree. And especially I remember something I've always said is you need a guy, but you also need a couple guys to yeah, obviously Cal Tucker's the guy, but you also need a couple other guys to play at all-star caliber levels to contend. And going into the season, it was is Say going to be that guy? Is Hap going to be that guy? Is Bush going to be that guy? Is PCA going to be the guy? And they've all been.
Yeah, I think Tucker's a guy that can carry the line. He's struggled. I mean, I wouldn't even say struggling. He's just hasn't been he's struggled a little bit against the Phillies. But you're not gonna OPS 1100 all year. It's just really not gonna happen. There's Aaron Judge does that. That's really it. Um, but I mean, I ripped off a little bit of a hot take during that last. I legitimately think right now for sure, but I do think there's a world Pico Armstrong's the second best player in the Cubs right now, and
Oh,
I don't know that it's gonna
it's not even a
stay
hot
like
take.
that. I think because he's got the second highest WAR in baseball, behind only Aaron Judge. So the thing with him was always if you get a league average bat, he's a 5-6 win player because he's so good on the base and such good. He's the most valuable fielder and base runner in baseball right now, and he's OPSing almost 900. I don't know that's gonna stick. He kind of strikes me as a guy that the highs are gonna be really high at the plate and the lows are gonna be really low. We've already kind of seen that a little bit this year.
He's a big vibes guy.
But I mean, dude,
Team's
if this
playing well,
is,
I think he'll be playing well, and then
I
vice
think
versa.
if like, I think he's also could be a warm weather guy. We kind of talked about that the first, second episode of the show.
I mean,
But
he's just been killing the Dodgers too. He
oh
killed
yeah.
the Dodgers.
Well, I mean, he
4 home
he
runs
had a
against.
double last night against the Phillies, and then roped another one that the wind knocked down.
And I think his power is just so underrated.
It's sneaky.
The double he hit, I think last night, or well,
He thought he got it too. He
weeks
said it
ago,
on Sunday Night
listening to
Baseball.
this. Yeah, because he hit it. He like kind of like golf. Like the game I went to last year, he golfed out 2 home runs. And he kind of golfed it and he like pointed up. Like you could
Yeah,
tell he thought it was gone. But I don't
yeah.
know. I mean,
I
if
mean,
he
like
keeps playing well,
he's their.
he's probably
I
the
think.
starting center fielder in the All Star game right now.
Yeah, I mean, granted it's April, so like we got time, but like 100%. I also think like the way he's hitting right now, like he's arguably their second best hitter right now.
He is their second best hitter right
But like
now.
I don't think that's gonna stick.
No,
Like
then no, no, no.
I think
I think
Hap's starting to get it going
heat
a
up.
little
Yeah,
bit.
Bush is so.
Say is gonna be like he's. I think like the thing with Say is like you almost kind of know what you're getting, and that's probably going to be like an 800 to like an 850 OPS, 20, 25 homers, 260. Like, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, Bush's numbers still look good. He hasn't hit a home run in a while, but again, like he's hitting the ball hard. I'm really getting worried about Dansby a little bit though at the plate. He is lost right
Yeah. Do you see what Cubs Twitter's trying to do right now? They're trying to give
now.
him
Well,
the Trey Turner treatment.
oh yeah, I did see that. I
I
mean,
don't think that will. I mean,
he's just not as good as Trey Turner.
no, he's
Like
just
he
not.
never has been. I mean, Trey Turner at his peak was like literally probably one of like the 10 best players in baseball.
I mean, at the beginning of the year, he was not hitting for like a
But
high
he's
average,
hitting
but
for
he's hitting
power.
home runs. Yeah, but
Yeah.
now it's just like,
He's also but like the thing with him, like he's like the only shortstop that's played over 20 games here that hasn't made an error.
hmm
Like him and Nico are so smooth up the middle. But I mean, yeah, I think like a little. I worry a little bit there just because a little bit of like Jason Hayward PTSD. Like it
yeah,
just
but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's pretty similar. Yeah,
it is pretty similar just because like I think like
it
also
doesn't
like,
feel like it though.
I think it feels similar just because like we had it with Hayward and like that was kind of like before Dansby, that was the last position player we really paid, and like struggling at the plate, but like you're always gonna have elite defense, which like obviously like is a plus. But
Yeah,
I also think you can get away with it more like when like catcher's not hasn't been a black hole this year like it was last year, and you
and
have a
okay, I
guy
don't think.
you have a legitimate dude in the middle of the lineup like this year that you have that you didn't have last year.
And then I think there's a legitimate dude at catcher that's not even on the team right now, and I think he will
Yeah,
be.
Moises is hitting like 400.
Yeah, Moises, if you don't know who that is like one of the Cubs' top prospects. I mean, he's gonna be a fan favorite to me because he's kind of like a goofy looking guy. He's
He's a
like
short, chubby dude.
short, chubby. He's like 5'7", but he just
And he
rakes.
rakes. Freaking rakes. I just don't know where he's gonna play, like realistically.
Yeah, I
I mean,
mean, I
there are
don't
no
think
I
Carson
mean,
Kelly's gonna respectfully. I don't.
yeah,
By
but
the end of
at
the year,
this
he's
point,
probably
like
not
I
gonna.
don't know that I think Moises can keep doing exactly what he's doing. But if if you're getting an 800 plus OPS from Amaya and Carson Kelly and 900 from Michael, like you're not gonna mess with that. Like you're not gonna
Yeah,
take
I agree.
ABs away from those guys until they like give you reason to.
Mhm.
I also like I would not like I think I don't know that there's a prospect in the Cubs organization right now except probably Cade Horton, and I still think Matt Shaw that's like untouchable. I think all those other guys are fair game, like especially if you want to go get a big arm.
I
Like
think
I think
Moises is
because
untouchable.
I think maybe, but like you really love what you saw from Amaya's young. You love what you saw from him in the second half of last year, and he's looked good to start this year. Bush is like 26 at first. Like, and those guys have done it at the major league level, whereas Moises hasn't. Like, I don't think they'll trade him
I would
because like
trade Horton before I'd trade Moises. I think.
I wouldn't. I don't think you can because
Ah, yeah, I guess, yeah,
they don't have yet like their pitching's not really young.
yeah.
Like Steele's not none of them are like old like per se, but like Shota's like 31. Like granted, he's still got a lot of but like Amaya's like 24, 25 years old. He might be 26. But
Yeah,
I think Cade Horton's looked awesome at Triple H. I think
yeah.
like you're probably he starts to get stretched out a little bit, you could be looking at a potential like late May, early June debut for him. But
hmm
I mean that's the one thing I feel like that worries me a little bit with this Cubs team is like the starting pitching is it's suspect a little I'd say right now. It's not bad, but it's suspect, and the bullpen's not great. Like you're getting like I think you're getting like best case scenario in the rotation. You're getting like best case scenario starts from two guys. Like I don't think you could really ask for a much better start from Matt Boyd, and even Jamison Tyone's been pretty freaking awesome this year too. I guess
Yeah.
not even. He had a couple bad, but like he's got a 4. His ERA's at 4. So I guess that's not necessarily true, but like you couldn't really ask for a better start from Matt Boyd.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if they're serious about contending this year, they're going to go out and get a pitcher, and if they're not, they're not.
Yeah, I think like the first guy that like I think it's gonna be one of the outfielders just because,
Yeah, I
especially with
agree. I think, I mean, I'd be fine with trading both Casey and
I don't
Alcantara.
know. I mean, I think if you're including both in the same deal, you better be getting a dude with control. Just because that, I mean, that's a lot. That's a
Mhm.
lot.
Yeah.
And then, like, I also think that like you better be serious about, hey, we're gonna keep Kyle Tucker in Chicago if we're gonna do that
Yeah, if
because
you're going to trade one of those guys, you better be pretty serious about extending
about
Kyle
keeping,
Tucker.
yeah. So I think like that's what'll be interesting. Like my outlook, again, I feel really good about this Cubs team. My outlook would be that much better, like if Steele was healthy, just because
Yeah,
I think
'cause he's so
I mean,
consistent.
he's had like a low 3 ERAs 3 years in a row. He's not an ace, but he's just, I mean, he's a dog. Like
Hmm.
he's fiery. He's a competitor. Like again, like not, I've made this comparison before. He just like his personality, like that reminds me so much of John Lester, where just like, give me the ball and let me do my thing. And it just missing him, like even I feel like from a clubhouse perspective is a kill.
Yeah. Um, you gonna
But
go into
I
the
mean,
draft?
they go Pitt. Yeah, let's do. Let me pull up the Cubs schedule. I know they go Pittsburgh. I th- I want to say they're gonna miss Skeens. I could be wrong. Um, but again, like even the Pirates aren't even like a bad team because like they're like trio is starting pit like Mitch Keller, Jared Jones, Paul Skeens are all good. So they go Pittsburgh, and then at Milwaukee. So a quick little 6 game road trip. So I mean, your first little like cup of tea in division. So then you're back home with the Giants. I mean, even then, like the schedule's really like the Brewers are good. Then you go to the Giants and you're at the Mets. The schedule really doesn't ease up to like mid-May, which is just
Yeah.
crazy. But then, like, I think that's where you look at that. I mean, again, this is looking way far ahead. That's where you look at, hey, we gotta take advantage. You go Marlins, White Sox, Marlins, Reds, Rockies, Reds again. Like that's where, and then you go, and then out of to start June, like again, and you go to the Nationals. So that's the benefit of having like a really hard schedule at the beginning, and you come out on ahead with that. Is it's going to get easier the rest of the way, which is
Yeah.
huge and allows you to figure out some of those bullpen things, some of those issues in the rotation, which I think they'll do.
Ready for draft?
Yeah, we can go NFL draft.
Yeah, so I'll start. Not gonna go into Bears talk right away, but starting off with Cam Ward, I feel like that's like Cam Ward didn't really like get his moment because of all like the Shadur stuff going on. Like he kind of got picked, and then you really didn't hear much about him for like the rest of the draft. Like I don't
Yeah,
know, like it's just anything. It's just more respect for Cam Ward at this point. I mean, I really like Cam Ward. I think he's going to be really good. Again, I don't watch a bunch of film or anything like that, but I mean, for me, he was by far and away the best quarterback in the draft. And why I love him even more is like all those like I've seen him before, but the clips of like with him working out with Shadur, like pre-draft process, him just
he's like, I
absolutely
play football.
like roasting him. He's like all about ball. Shadur's like, oh, let's record a song. He's like, no, I play ball. It just
Yeah,
makes
like
me hate Shadur that much. Hate's a strong word. Makes me dislike Shadur. Is it Shadur or Shador?
I don't care.
I'm gonna say Shadur. Um, just makes me dislike Shadur that much more. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I
all
think part of the reason like Cam Ward like didn't get talked about that much at the draft, I think, because like it was one like the second pick got traded, so like that became a talking point, and it was just such a foregone conclusion that like that's who the Titans were going to pick. Like there's really no mystery there, and then like you get a big trade at 2, which like I think like that trade, I actually like that trade from both sides. Like if you're Jacksonville, you have your quarterback and you go out and get the best player in the draft. You gave up a lot, but in your Cleveland, like you have 2 picks next year. And like I don't know how good the Jags will be this year. Like you got 2 picks and you're kind of now what they did the rest of the draft. I don't really know how to feel about
yeah,
that, but I mean you took 2 swings at QB this year and then you got 2 first round picks next year. their own pick will probably be pretty high, and I think there's where the Jags pick is pretty high, and it's a stronger class next year. So I liked what they did. And then, I mean, still getting Mason Graham is, I mean, probably one of the 5, 6, 7 best players in the draft.
Yeah, and like there's been a lot of like clips coming out about like the Jaguars GM, and one thing he said I actually really like. What's his name? Jaguars
James
GM.
Gladstone.
Yeah, James Gladstone. One of the things he was like, you draft players in like the top 3 picks to change like your organization. He's like, very rarely do you get a player that you can draft to change this like the sport,
Yeah.
which like for me seems like they're gonna play on both sides of the ball, which is that is gonna be really cool to see. Um,
Yeah. I also think Travis is going to become that much more likable now that he's like, or I
yeah,
shouldn't even say that because there's already people that love him. He's going to become less polarizing now that he's like out of like Colorado and like he can kind of just be. Because like before you couldn't say like if you're talking Travis, like Shadur and like Dion, like and like the whole thing, like that was going to come up to a certain extent. But I think now that he's like he'll be less. I mean,
yeah, and imagine like spending the last like like three months thinking, yeah, I'm gonna go play in Cleveland, and now you're like,
yeah,
oh,
and
I'm
he's from
playing Florida.
Georgia, so then now he's staying down south where it's warm.
Yeah, I was not expecting that trade at
Yeah, I
all.
wasn't either.
I think it was a better deal for the Browns because the Browns just said, hey, like we're not close to winning. This Travis Hunter is not going to make us much closer. Let's just get as much picks as we can. And
Yeah, I also
I
don't
really
think
like the deal
you
for the
couldn't have
Browns.
blamed him for like sticking and picking there
No,
either.
you couldn't have, but I really like what they did there.
Yeah,
And Browns winners of the draft.
no.
You don't think? That's what Mel Kiper thinks.
Well, because Mel Kiper has a hard on for Shadur.
Yeah, that
But
was
like
so
I think
weird.
it was just it's weird because
He
I liked
doesn't.
what they did. Like they go obviously they trade back, they like recoup what they need from the Hunter trade, and then they get they got Judkins. I like the Judkins pick. And then you take Dylan Gabriel in the third round, which was like I thought was a little bit of a reach. But then you doubled down on running back and quarterback, which just seemed kind of odd to me. Like that quarterback room is so crowded. Um, and I
Yeah,
mean I don't know.
to me, the Shador pick almost seems like an owner pick.
Yeah, and I mean I think it was ridiculous he fell as far as he did. Like he's not like he's a good quarterback. Like he should have been a day 2 pick at the
But like,
worst.
but yeah, I agree. He probably could should have been a day 2, but that just shows obviously if you can play, you're gonna get picked on day 1 or high day
Yeah,
2. Like
he's
the
not
Jalen
good enough
Carter
to be.
situation, that
Yeah,
stuff like his alley, like stuff going on with him pre-draft was serious, but it's like, oh, this guy can play. We're still gonna take him the top 10.
yeah, I think
But
like most teams probably just viewed Shadur as a backup, and you don't want that much of a media show for your backup quarterback. And I think that while as much as that might suck for Shadur, like I think it's ridiculous that he fell to the 5th. And I'm not a Colorado guy, I'm not a Shadur guy, but like in no world should he have been like the 100 what 44th pick. Like that's come on
But
now.
he also he handled the pre-draft process just as about as poorly as he could handle it.
Yeah,
He did not play in the Senior Bowl, which everyone plays in the Senior Bowl. It's like came out his agent was telling, or I guess he didn't really have an agent, but
he
like
didn't even practice the Senior Bowl.
yeah, people around him were telling him to play in the Senior Bowl. He's like, I'm not playing in the Senior Bowl. He played like the East-West game, right? Didn't he instead?
No, he didn't. I don't think he even played in that.
Yeah, well, he didn't want to play in the Senior Bowl because it was in Dallas, and like and in his pro
The
day, like
Senior Bowl's not in Dallas.
yes, it was, yes, it is.
It's in Mobile.
Or the East-West Shrine game might be in Dallas. Or Shrine Bowl.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
in.
the East-West Shrine Bowl is.
Yeah, it's in Mobile. The draft because they always say like about the Senior Bowl, the draft starts in Mobile.
Yeah.
But I think I'll give him credit where credit's due. I thought like actually like on like social media and like the videos I saw, I thought he handled like actually like falling pretty well. Like it wasn't like he could have handled it worse. And like the whole prank call thing, like thought he handled that well. Like I'll play devil like, and I don't really like Shadur. Um, but I mean, I was actually I was talking to our dad about this actually. I think another reason like teams might be deterred from him, he's never been coached by anyone except his father. Granted, his dad's not your normal dad. He's a Hall of Fame football player, one of the best football players ever. But his
Yeah.
dad was his high school coach. His dad was his coach at Jackson State. His dad was his coach at Colorado. And I think again, like there's just a different dynamic to the like there's a different dynamic with that. And I think while he shouldn't have fallen, he definitely had a hand in why that happened. Like it wasn't just like
It
he
was
got screwed. Like the choices he made and the way he conducted himself 100% played
well,
into that.
also like you didn't really see like any of like the big like before the draft, like Schefter was saying there's a good chance Shadur was gonna fall out of the first round. Like it wasn't like an uncommon thing like
No one
that.
thought he was falling to the fifth.
No, obviously, but teams were like he could fall out of the first, and like once you, again, like what you said earlier, once you get to day two, it's like where you're drafting him probably as a backup, and do you want to deal with all
Right.
what comes with Shadur for a backup quarterback? Like it just like I
Yeah.
don't know. Like if I were an NFL GM, I would be very shy to go that
Yeah.
route.
I think honestly though, my favorite part of the draft is when Mel Kiper's like losing his mind, and then Reese Davis just like totally like Mel, like come on, like
Yeah, and
Mel
Reese
Kiper's
Davis
like
like usually does not like he's usually like
Reese Davis is like
super
the most
calm.
like even keel guy
I
ever.
know.
And he was like, dude,
Well,
enough.
Well, Mel Kiper's like very different than all those guys. Like he like I don't
I
know.
hate.
He's like very like he gets super passionate about his analysis, and it's like
Well, he's talking about. He's like, well, the NFL doesn't know. The NFL hasn't known how to analyze quarterbacks or like grade quarterbacks for 50 years. Well, Mel, neither did you. Neither do you. Like, it's a complete crapshoot because everyone does it differently. Like, there was a clip that went like it's I that went. I mean, I don't even know if you can call it viral, but when Jimmy Clausen was coming out of Notre Dame in like 2010. Mel Kiper was like, if Jimmy Clausen doesn't become a successful quarterback in the NFL, I'll quit my job at ESPN. Well, Jimmy Clausen went to Carolina and won like 2 games as a rookie and threw like 3 touchdowns, like 12 picks, and then flamed out of the league. Or in 2017, he had Mahomes as his fifth ranked quarterback. Like, no one knows how to evaluate quarterbacks. Like, it's like, I mean, I don't know. Like,
yeah,
I'm just sick of Mel Kiper. And to be honest with you, like, I think
yeah,
like it just also like it takes away so much from the other guys that are getting drafted when that's all you want to talk about. And like, granted, like that is a big storyline, but like,
yeah. Especially when how he fell the way they did. Do you want to talk about the Bears picks?
yeah, we can go. We can go. I mean, I thought just like in terms of like their pick at 10, I didn't mind it, but like the board fell about as bad as it could have for the Bears. Like it really limited what they were gonna do.
Well, I
Like
think I mean from what like polls was saying, I bet you Loveland was very high on their
I
board.
think
I
he
think he was
was.
their guy. Like I
Like
think that's probably who they thought that was they were gonna get.
I think if Banks was there, I think they would have still taken Loveland.
I don't. Yeah, I agree. Like
I
I
think
think
if
they would
Membu
have
was
still
there,
taken
they're still
Loveland
taking
too.
Loveland.
And like I think if who were there, you
If
say
Banks
Jen.
and Membu were there,
Oh,
I
I
think
think
they still take.
yeah. I don't think they
I
would
think
have
the
gone
only guys
back.
they would have taken over him
Or
would have been Mason Graham, Will Campbell, and Genty if they were
yeah,
there.
and it's not like I don't think they
And those
had.
guys go 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, it's not like I think they had Colston level and higher on their board than those guys, which I don't think they didn't. I just don't think they saw like I don't think they thought it was worth it. I don't think they were ever seriously considering trading up
I
for Jen.
think they were, but again,
I
like
don't think they
we
were.
talked about it, if you want to trade up or trade down, it takes two to tango. Like someone else has to be willing to move up or down to go with you. And I think the rate, like it was pretty clear the Raiders were taking Genty if he was there. There's no way they weren't. And like the Bears weren't going to be able to jump. I think maybe they could have jumped to 5. Again, this is also because they tried to.
Well, that's also just making calls and like I
Right,
don't
but
know.
I think
I
like
don't think they
once
were ever
I think
seriously
once
considering it.
Cleveland traded down to 5 and Jacksonville jumped up, there's no way the Browns were going to go down twice, and like that just kind of, and then you're locked in on
Yeah,
Loveland.
and
And
like
like people
with
were pissed that they didn't get Tyler Warren, and like
yeah,
Tyler Warren's a good player, like but I just think like with what the Bears are trying to do, like Loveland's going to play like he's going to be like a big slot almost. You're going to play a lot of 12 personnel. I just think he complements Cole Kmet more
yeah,
with just his skill set, and also like Tyler, like, I mean, this is getting real nip. Colson Loveland just turned 21, like at the beginning of April, and Tyler Warren turns 23 in like a week. So, I mean, like, he's a good bit younger, and like his production wasn't good. I mean, he did not have a quarterback in Michigan
I mean, yeah, he still
this
had like
last
I
year.
think his numbers were pretty comparable between his junior and sophomore years, but
Yeah, but like you're saying, like
But
if he has JJ,
if he has
it's
JJ for
completely
another
different.
year, yeah, obviously his
Because they were
production
just,
is
I mean, with
much
JJ,
better.
they were pounding the rock. Like with, I mean, you had Blake Coleman, Donovan, like you were running the
Yeah,
hell out of the ball.
and I mean, he's like 6'6", like he's ran like a four. He ran in the 4.7s. Like
Yeah, and I also think
they
like
haven't had
Ben
like a guy
Johnson had
like
his
that.
fingerprints all over that pick, which I love.
Who, Ben Johnson?
Yeah, like
Oh
you
yeah,
didn't
for
see
sure.
that shit with Eberflus. Like you know what I mean? Like that was a Ben Johnson pick,
Yeah,
100%. Like he's like, go get me this guy. And I also think I kind of talked about it in the last episode. Like tight end wasn't a need.
it's
Like
let the what Poles was saying. Like literally all pre-draft, it's like they're gonna let the board speak to him. They're not
right,
gonna rush
like
anything.
at the end of the day, go out and bring in a good football player. And that's exactly what they did.
Exactly, because like
And like
especially like
that's like
with
that was like what you and Jerry were saying, like with like the Genti thing, like on last episode, I was like, well, this isn't an especially great class. I mean, if you want to trade down, one, you have to have someone you want to take when you trade down that like you're set on. And two, someone's gonna want to have to move up. And like this isn't a great class. So go out and get without a doubt, he's one of the top two tight end prospects. And it's a good tight end class. He's not Brock Bowers, but like it's a good tight end class. You got one of the two elite tight end prospects this year. I'd so much rather bring in an elite prospect. He's not a blue chip guy. Than draft like the fifth or sixth tackle in an average, like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I agree. I I mean, I don't know if he's gonna be like a fantasy guy right away,
no,
but I think I mean just adding him to and going into the Bears' next pick, adding him to an already stacked offense, and then also getting a guy who I thought was good enough to go in like the top 25, probably talent wise, Luther
yeah. I mean, if
Burden.
he was coming out last year,
If he were coming out,
Luther's
I mean, he was mocked in the top five.
Luther would have been in like the maybe not quite the same, but he would have been up there with Rome and Neighbors and Marv. Like he probably not maybe not with those three, but like right below them.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
he's a top 15 guy last year as a sophomore.
I agree. I mean, I don't know, you can tell I go to Mizzou, so that I mean that pick is much even cooler for me. But I remember we were watching it, and I knew he was available, but that's just not a Bears pick.
Yeah, it's not.
That's
And
just
once
not like
again,
Bears don't
fuck the need, go get a dog, and that's what
the
they did.
Bears don't pick the obvious really good player still available
Yeah.
not very often. And like he's gonna be a guy, or obviously there's like character concerns. I don't know how true all that
He's
stuff
a
is.
diva. So is every good receiver in the NFL.
Exactly.
That
I
doesn't.
mean, yeah, I can tell like when he's not getting the ball, like he's gonna let you know. Which I don't know how much he'll be able to get the ball this year, but he's probably not gonna be on the field all the time with the two tight ends now and already DJ and Rome. But like when he gets the ball in space, I mean he's right there. I don't know like how he's gonna be as a rookie, but I'd say he's right there with where DJ is after the catch. Like
He's not as big as DJ, but
no, but
again,
he's
like
so shifty and
he's
so
so.
quick.
Well,
Like
DJ's. I feel like DJ is almost more like he's more powerful.
yeah,
Like
I
after the
mean
catch.
that pick, I was way more excited about that pick than I was the Colston Loveland
I
pick
mean, I
because that's
wasn't like.
it. If the quarterback play at Mizzou was very inconsistent, they didn't do a good job of getting him the ball. He was open a lot, and they did not get him the ball.
I
Mizzou's
mean, again,
quarterback
I wouldn't say I was like
all
super
season.
fired up for like I was excited,
I was fired up.
but like when they drafted like Loveland, I was like, okay, like just because like I mean it's a tight end, but also like it's not like years past where like I feel like the Loveland pick reminded me a lot of like drafting Darnell Wright, like in terms of just like vibe towards like it's not drafting a quarterback, it's not drafting wide receiver in the top 10. You know what I mean? Like, um, but I mean I feel good about what they did. I think just because there is so many guys, like keeping everyone happy. Like and again, like I think Ben Johnson's a guy that can do that. I don't know that there's going to be anyone that is producing at like an all pro level just because there's so many guys that are going to be getting the ball a lot.
Yeah, and Luther probably as a rookie is going to be like a gadget guy. They're going to like throw him in the slot. I think
I
he
would
should
love to see. I
he
guess he
should be
probably
their
won't.
returner.
No, because they have Duvernay, who's like an all pro returner.
Yeah, I guess, but he needs to be. I mean, he was
You
a very
find
good
that's a
punt
guy you
returner
find
too.
ways to get the football.
I mean, he's going to be so exciting to watch. I mean,
I mean,
he's just a stud. If
you
the
can
off
see
the
some
field
stuff. I
stuff
don't
gets
know
taken
if
care of,
Ben
he's
will
a
do this, but like maybe a little like I know they did a little bit last year, which doesn't really matter because it's a completely different offense. Like you saw DJ in the backfield a little bit. You saw like maybe that's something you see a little bit more like creativity wise to try to get all those guys on the field at the same time.
Yeah. And I think it
Because I
also
mean,
frees
there's
up.
literally there is no way you can have like DJ, Rome, Luther, Cole Kmet, Loveland, and DeAndre Swift. Like that's impossible. Like you can't have all those guys. And like Swift's obviously probably like the guy you feel like he's the odd guy. Like I mean, obviously he's the best running back, but the
Yeah.
guy I'm least excited
And
about there. And like
there's zero excuses now for Caleb. No excuses. There's
oh
talented there's talented players everywhere. I mean, it's only his second season, I get it, but like in the day and age we are now, I think Caleb's really good. I think he's the guy. But this is
you
you
need
better
to
go
see a Pro Bowl level quarterback in Chicago this
this
year.
offense needs to be an elite offense. And I don't want to overreact, but that should be the expectation with this roster, with the revamped offense.
Everything they've devoted really this offseason has
I
been
mean, I said it before the draft. I said and if I were Ryan Poles, I'd say it's not like we're gonna win the Super Bowl this year. Screw the defense. Let's go out and make our offense really freaking good, and let's
they
worry
still
about.
addressed the defense a little bit,
Yeah, they did, but
but
you
like I
could
mean, you
tell
get an
what
offensive
their
head
focus
coach,
was on.
you trade for two starting offensive linemen, pay big money to a center, your first three picks in the draft are offense, your first two picks last year are offense. Granted, like you did go get Grady
Like
Jarrett, you did go
look what the
get
Lions have done. Like they went 9-8, missed the playoffs, but they had like a top 10 offense. And the next
yeah.
year they addressed the defense more, and eventually
I mean, again,
like,
there's levels to it. Like you can't go from being a 5-12 team that won one game in the division to being a Super Bowl. Like there's a lot of things that have to happen before that. It's like saying like, but I mean, the goal needs to be, all right, what we need, we're going to win games in division. We're going to be a 9-10 win team. We're going to go above 500. We're going to make the playoffs. And then like, once you do that, all right, like let's go on a run in the playoffs. And then, all right, now let's go, like, we're ready to go. Let's go win a Super Bowl. But there's just so many things that have to happen before you can be where they were at last year to winning a Super Bowl. There's so much that has to happen on the field and not just team building wise.
yeah. And then another thing with Luther, I don't know if you watched his press conference, but his press conference was awesome. Like you could just tell he was so pissed off. Like I know he was pissed off a bunch during this past like season in general because I mean they just did a terrible job getting him the ball, but I think he's gonna have such a chip on his shoulder. And again, like I don't think you're gonna see him go out and produce like crazy as a rookie just because of how loaded the offense is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when he's on the field, he's going to be one of the more exciting players on the team to
Yeah,
watch.
I mean it honestly just like I think I mean again I could be wrong. I think the Bears were probably at what they got Luther at 39. I
Yeah,
think they were probably pretty like zoned in on one of the Ohio State running backs. And then when those guys weren't there, they were like, all right, like let's just go get the next best guy. And or
yeah,
maybe like Luther's probably better than like better
he is
prospect.
better. Like he's
Yeah.
like with a better quarterback, he's not the 39th pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
I
dude,
would
what's
say
crazy
better.
is
Brady
like
Cook was injured a lot, but with consistent quarterback play, he's probably a top 20 pick.
yeah. Well, what's just crazy is not only is this offense like loaded with skill talent, they're all like here for like
Yeah,
I think Komet's got what does he have 3 or 4 years left?
yeah.
So all these guys are here for 3+ years,
And I
which is
also
crazy.
yeah, and I also love like I mean this is probably true with a lot of
And
teams.
also, I think it's going to help you stay healthy offensively
Yeah,
because you're going to be able
it's
to
like
keep guys fresh.
and we're getting guys that were just certified dogs at really, really good programs. Like obviously Mizzou's like now it's an elite program. They play in the SEC. Like and he played in All-American level. Like
Colston
Rome
Loveland
last
won a national
yeah,
championship.
Colston Loveland won a national championship. Rome Odunze was first team All-American. Like
Yeah,
I think it's just good to draft guys who not only are really good college players but also come from winning programs.
yeah.
Which I wouldn't call Mizzou a winning program, but when
But I mean,
Luther
they were a 10-win team. What were they? 11-2, then 9-3, or
they
nine
were
and
they were
four.
10-win team both years.
Were
I
they
think.
11-2, then 10-3?
No,
Yeah,
they were yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I mean, you want you like I think that matters because at the end of the day, like the team's loaded, but like the culture is not a winning one. I'm not gonna yet. I think it's gonna get there. I think it can get there, but right now it's not. So you have the talent, but now you got to go out and like at a certain point you got to go flip the script, and you've been hearing that. I mean, really since the last two full. So this will be year three. We're like, all right, like it's go time. Like the expectations have been to be competitive and to be good since the last year of Justin Fields. Like the expectation that year was, all right, we went out and got you DJ Moore. We went and did this and this and this. Go take a leap. Go compete for the playoffs. The expectation was last year we went out and got all these guys. Granted, rookie quarterback. Go compete. The expectation or the goal was not to win 5 games. It was to be a hell of a lot better than that. And well, now, like at a certain point, like I feel like they've done a great job of overhauling the roster every year. But at a certain point, you got to go out there and do it, and you got to win. And this is the best roster they've had. But you got to go win football games. And until that happens, like everything else is kind of a mystery because there is no, that culture isn't there. And that's what's missing.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on any of their other picks?
I mean, I thought, I liked what the Panthers did. I think like getting, Tyrone McMillan was good. Bryce Young like went into the GM's office and he's like, "Get this guy," and they
Oh,
did.
I didn't know about that.
I think that's pretty cool. I also like you could talk like the Bryce Young trade's like finally done. So is Bryce Young for DJ Moore, and then picks that turned out to be Caleb Williams, Darnell Wright, Tyreek Stevenson, and Luther Burden. Regardless if you're a Bryce Young or a Caleb guy, I'd say that trade went pretty. I don't know that trade could have gone better for the Bears.
Yeah.
But so I think that like that's no longer going to be a talking point, which I kind of like. I like it was a good trade, but like I'm also like that's like the Bears' biggest win of the last 2 years. It's like I'm ready for like the biggest win to be an actual win and like actual winning on the field.
Yeah. And I really like the only other um pick I'll touch on is the Bears' seventh round pick. They were like, oh, running back, but they got one seventh round. He was like led the lead or led FBS and like yards after contact, which
Yeah, I mean I think it's good. I don't know enough about really any of the guys after Luther to like really have an opinion right
yeah,
now. Like I'm not a draft nerd. Like I watch a lot of college football, but I don't know who these niche offensive lineman prospects are. Like I'm not going to even. I've heard
yeah,
good things about what they did, but I don't know enough to have an opinion on it.
yeah. And like with running back also, like there was just like they kind of just got like unlucky, and I don't think they
Yeah,
wanted
and
to
they weren't going to reach for one.
for one. And yeah, I mean, and if you have a really good passing game, running the ball shouldn't be too hard. And it looks like they're gonna hopefully have a really good passing game.
Everyone say they're going to try to get Nick Chubb. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, just like go get one of these veteran guys and can draft one next year, a couple more.
Yeah, I
Draft
mean,
some.
I think it'll be interesting to just kind of see because you didn't really touch. I mean, I guess you didn't really need to draft offensive line because like your starting five's kind of set. Like even if you took an offensive lineman at 10, like he's probably not going to start barring injury, just because like Braxton's fine. But I think like what was the dude's name from Boston College?
Ozzy Trapillo.
Yeah. Well, I think like right now, like you're probably unless Braxton Jones has like a huge year, and then you pay him, which I really
They
hope they
should not.
don't. That you're looking, that's probably your starting left tackle. So they must view him pretty highly because they know that there's a chance he could be that guy in a couple years. But again, like it's just a constant evaluation, especially at tackle and at quarterback. But I feel good about what they did. I was less into the draft this year. I feel like than most years. Like even like we're like independent of the Bears, like it just the class itself wasn't as exciting. Like
Yeah.
um, next year's going to be like with like Arch and Garrett Nussmeier and Lenore Sellers and all these QBs coming out of the SEC. That's going to be. I think next year's draft class will be a lot better, and I think that's why like what the Browns did, and then with the Rams also got a second first round pick. I think that was they gave up
Yeah.
Falcons gave up a shit ton to get back up for James Pierce, who I think is a good player, but I think the Rams are in really good position next year to maybe go get their quarterback because Stafford's not going to be around forever. Yeah, just overall, like I'm usually a pretty big draft guy. I didn't even watch draft day before the draft this year.
I
So
did,
what
yeah.
what I always do, but um, I'm happy with what the Bears did. I think it was a fine draft overall, but one of the
Yeah.
probably less eventful ones. Like the big storyline, Shador falling to the fifth round.
Yeah. I mean,
And like that storyline is significantly smaller if his last name is Jones. Or like
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
And hopefully next couple years we won't care about the draft at all.
yeah.
Just 'cause
Yeah,
when the-
and like me and you have said this for years, like I'm sick and tired of like the day you look forward to most as a Bears fan being the draft. And that wasn't necessarily as much this year, but like I'm still like I'm fired up to watch him pick at 10. Like I'm nervous, like I'm excited, but like I'm ready to feel that way and watching games in December, January versus watching a guy get his name run off a card in April.
yeah.